Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Open Channel with Kate the Brave. I am Kate the Brave. I am a psychic medium, intuitive mentor, energy practitioner, and open channel based here in Texas. This is a space where we bridge spirituality and everyday life. We explore intuition, healing, energy, spirit communication, and what it actually looks like to live a spiritually connected life while staying grounded in the real world. Okay, today I want to talk about something that has been on my heart all week, and that is the strawberry moon. Not because I think the moon is this magical switch that suddenly changes who we are overnight, but because I think that there is incredible wisdom in the way humans have looked to the moon for thousands of years. For as long as we have existed, we've looked up. We've watched the cycles, noticed the tides. We planted the crops, navigated the ocean, which is insane. And we've marked seasons. We figured out irrigation, agriculture. Before calendars hung up on our walls, the moon helped people understand where they were in the year. And what I love most is that these moons weren't actually named after what people were seeing in the sky. They were named after what they noticed happening here on Earth. The strawberry moon wasn't called that because it looked pink. It was named because wild strawberries were finally ripe. Think about that for a second. Someone was not staring at the moon to decide its name. They were paying attention to life. They were noticing what was blooming. They noticed what was ready. And that really made me wonder because maybe that's what intuition actually is. Not predicting, not forcing, not trying to control every single outcome. Simply noticing, paying attention. Whether you believe the moon changes us or is simply reminding us to slow down enough to notice ourselves, I think that there's wisdom in paying attention. I think we've forgotten how to notice. I think that we're always asking, what's next? What will happen? What isn't here yet? What's my sign? What's my breakthrough? What is it? Where is this going? How can I fix it? How can I control this? How can I make sure I'm okay? And meanwhile, life is quietly blooming all around us. I've had the privilege of sitting with hundreds of people over the years, people who were grieving, people who were rebuilding, finding themselves, people stepping into business, relationships, parenthood, healing, spirituality, life. And what I've noticed is that energy rarely arrives with fireworks. Transformation is usually much quieter than what we expect. It looks like finally getting 8 hours of sleep, finally saying no, finally making the doctor's appointment, setting up your Zoom, having a hard conversation, finally believing you're worthy enough to ask for more. We tend to wait for lightning. It's human nature. But spirit, yes, lightning exists. Spirit often works through gardens. By the time the strawberry appears, months, sometimes years of unseen work has already happened. Roots have grown, rain has fallen, the soil has shifted, the sun has shown up day after day after day. Nobody clapped, nobody applauded the roots, nobody celebrated the tiny green leaves. Nobody sat there watching for the berry to ripen. Then one morning, it simply ready. It's simply ready. I think that's where so many of us are. I think that's the message here. We spend so much time looking for evidence that we forget evidence has been growing beneath the surface this entire time. You've been putting in the work, you've been showing up for yourself, you've been planting and nourishing the seeds, you've been healing, building your business, you've been learning to trust yourself and how to show up every day, maybe even wondering why it matters. I want to lovingly remind you of something. Don't dig up your roots because you don't see flowers yet. Growth underground is still growth. It's foundational. I talked recently about contraction and expansion, and about building our energetic muscles, grounding, abundance. This strawberry moon, it feels like all of those conversations coming together. Nature does not rush herself. She doesn't bloom in January because someone else is blooming. She blooms when she's ready. Maybe we've been measuring our lives against the wrong timeline. Maybe we're comparing our roots to someone else's flowers. What if your only job right now is to keep tending your garden, to water it, to rest, to trust it, to notice it? Often, when I'm channeling these messages for the podcast, a song will come to mind. And I thought it was interesting that during this channel, I kept hearing the song Affair with the Moon. Every time I hear it, I'm reminded that there is something beautiful about having a relationship with these cycles. The moon does not chase us. It doesn't panic because we missed one phase. It doesn't force summer to arrive any sooner than it needs to. It simply keeps showing up month after month, year after year, reminding us that life moves in seasons. Nothing blooms forever. Nothing stays dormant forever either. If you're listening to this today, maybe this is your reminder. Slow down enough to notice what is already blooming. Celebrate the conversations that would have terrified the old version of you. Celebrate the boundaries you've learned to hold. Celebrate the peace you fought so hard to create. Celebrate the tiny evidence that your life is changing. Because one day you'll look back and you'll realize those tiny moments were actually the beginning of everything. Of everything. And if you're tired, if you're wondering whether all this work is really worth it, if you've been faithfully showing up and it really feels like nothing is changing, remember the strawberry. No one watches it grow, but one morning it's ready. Don't quit tending the garden just because today doesn't look like harvest. Slow down, look around. Something in your life is blooming, and I hope you allow yourself to fully enjoy it. Yeah. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who needs a reminder that growth is not always loud. Okay. Until next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and keep your channel open. Okay. I love you. Goodbye.